the thing I loved is that system teaches the very most talented players to play 200 feet game. Um, and we've all heard how those elite players go up and they turn pro, and all you hear is they got to learn to play in their own end. Here they are growing up, not knowing how to play in their own end because they're scorers in that elite league. Now all of a sudden, they've got to become third, fourth liners. And I think a kid you may know, Wes Walls, was one of those gifted kids who became one of the best defensive players for Jacques Lemaire in Minnesota. Fortunately, he made it late and changed his game because he respected the need to learn that, but it was so late in his playing career. Now, you said the first thing you do is curriculum and D-zone cover. In other words, you show them all how to play in their own zone, clarify it, define it, and the work ethic and positioning built into that structure will play a big part with every line being able to play against any line when the puck's in your end. So we talked, Kerry, and I've talked to a few of the coaches on here. You grew up playing for me, and I never played four low or wingers low. I played a tight defensive zone system that was simple, that we had great success with. But you moved on, played for Coach Phelps, and he had the wingers low and the center high, which was the top of the circle. And quite frankly, I've been thinking about that. I really like that concept because today's game in D-zone play, you pressure the puck more than ever, and the swarm defense appears to outnumber them in the D-zone. They have one, you have two. They have two, you have three. They have three, you have four. And when you play four low, you've got one on the puck sooner and support sooner all over the ice, particularly below the hash mark. So, Kerry, can you talk about that effect and impact on your success to national championships?
Well, I can tell you, Wally, you know, being a student of the game with guys like yourself and Donnie, you know, when I did it in the early 90s, you know, nobody really had the four low or the swarm going. And I'm going to tell you that to me, it was more so about forcing the puck from a defensive standpoint. And basically what I would do is I would just say to the kids, you know, below the dot, we wanted 4-on-3. And, you know, puck side, the last guy in the zone, which is usually the, you know, the third forward F3, would be puck side at the top of the circle. And to a certain degree, you could leave the defenseman kind of open until the puck went there, and then you would force them out. But one of the big reasons why I went to it was because we had a team that had really small center icemen. And, you know, I was watching them, and they were struggling playing 3-on-3 down low. And so we had these big hulking wingers who I thought, well, let's switch this around a little, and did create the 4-on-3 down low. And it wasn't originally, it was just the wingers. Later on, I changed it just to the first forward who could get back the fastest and force. And you know, the effectiveness of it all in that time frame, like very rarely would any teams get more than 15 shots against us. You know, between 10 and 15 shots against was the norm when we played this process. And so basically it's 4 down low, and you know, the last forward into the zone just goes to the puck side at the top of the circle. if you have good defensemen or average defensemen, it's beneficial to both. You know, if you got good puck carrying defensemen, forcing that play down low will create free pucks that the other defenseman can take off with. You know, and I'm a firm believer that, you know, it's a 5-man unit that you attack with from the minute that you turn over the puck. And the quicker you can turn over the puck in your own end, the better off it is to get it out of your end. So that system, that was put in place, never had a team that wasn't the least goals against. And I would credit that process to it. And I've yet to run across anybody who's been able to diffuse it, because it's all still based around lots of energy, lots of forcing, and lots of puck support. You know, you got one guy there, we want two. You want, you know, two guys there, we'll have three. You know, you have 3 forwards there, we're going to have 4.